the most philosophically rich, ultra-niche, impossible to describe channel on the internet. If you've tuned in to any of these recent episodes, you're aware of the nature of what I'm really getting at here. It's an interactive, hypersensual exploration in real time of the spiritual capacities of ASMR. You see, ASMR is not just a sensorial phenomenon. It's actually a spiritual force. They're one and the same, and it's a sort of school of philosophy that I'm exploring. It's hyper intimate, hyper niche, as I said. It's just something to ponder. It's both extremely background, which is to say, if you're investing in this fully, in this moment, your full consciousness to this center, you could just as well turn it in the background and offer its same frequency forward. There's a riding nature about what ASMR really is. Anyway, I can go on and on and on about waxing poetic about philosophy, but, you know, it's all just happening here. ASMR is just about what's happening here. It doesn't demand anything. It doesn't ask anything. It's just totally the isness of the present moment captured. And there's why there's something so casual about the nature of what ASMR is. It doesn't make anything of itself. It's just there. Yeah. It's why the Bob Ross clouds are just the archetype of ASMR. It's just a heavy little cloud. It's just there. Yeah. Yeah, it's gentle. You know, it's like a baby. Yeah, you know, it's not. It's very riding and rhythmic. It's funny. I have a sneeze that's asking to burst forward, which would totally destroy the mood. You know, it's like a safe space. ASMR is like a safe space if you're really engaged to it. It's nice. It's just a cloud. It's sort of zen. I was meditating again last night and I felt the tingles. If you've listened to any of the other videos I've talked about how I think the actual phenomenology of the ASMR tingle is overlapped with what is sometimes called Kundalini. I alluded to this earlier in this video just for a moment. The spiritual capacities of ASMR. You know, spiritual, I just use that word, you know, just as a label. It's not meant to offer anything beyond itself. Simply saying this is not just 4 letters on the internet. ASMR, this is something that's deep and human and ancient, and it involves our body and our senses and what's going on with here on these screens. There's probably only a few people listening to this because it is truly at the boundary lines of what humans can sense and articulate. This sort of digital collective sensorial experience we're all having that's inexplainable. Tingling from people making whiskers on microphones and spittle in their mouths and playing with crackers. It just doesn't make any logical sense. It's mythic and strange and totally modern. It's totally the future. And so, I, as a lifelong learner of ASMR, offer my voice here, not in any attempt to sometimes is far from intentional. I am just letting myself randomly flow and move with the tides of language that let ourselves feel one with the tingles, and if somebody reacts, then so be it. But I myself have very rarely ever truly fell into the grips of intentional ASMR. It's always been these unintentional moments. A waiter at a restaurant, or the host of an Airbnb, or someone at a rest stop. It's totally minor and passing and unintended, and those I've consumed on the internet as ASMR inducees, it's always found footage, it's always unintended, it's always been, and so I make no claims here to actually be a beautiful ASMRE. But I talk like this just to explore myself, but also to tell you and show you and let you feel that I understand what it is. Yeah, you get it. Okay. There's so little space for breath on the internet. Yeah. Unintentional versus intentional ASMR, the boundary lines blur at the very core of it all. Yes, a collective experience is happening here that goes well beyond words. Feelings had by people all around the world. These indescribable stimulations by randomness, by a child playing with a toy on YouTube. It's just all so strange. And what I'm doing here is no intention of offering anything other than pure exploration and simulation and stimulation in the face of this unknown. To be poetic and expressive in the postmodern pastiche that is the wild new world of the internet. You see, in other forms of expression, one needs to sort of apply themselves logically to the structures, to the expectations. But ASMR as a phenomenon doesn't have much to do always with linear logic. It's totally new and expressive. This itself is not meant to be edited. It's not meant to be put into something that can be understood totally reasonably logically. But if you allow it to seep in, whether you're actually listening to the words or just catching its vibration, it speaks to a new frontier. It's more about putting the words into the universe than it is actually expressing the clarity of the idea, but the words that are going into the universe, insofar as ASMR are concerned, are like spittles of the mouth and rhythms of expression. It's the authentic unknown of each human voice made manifest in each human moment. Other parts of my life are highly calculated, highly distributed, highly understood. I'm a video editor by trade, for those of you who are just listening in. You're just listening in and you don't know who this guy is. I'm a video editor. I make things clean and sound good and very clear. Yeah, but with ASMR, to really understand it, and it is to understand the spiritual aspects of it, you have to understand it's more of a wave than it's about the information. It's how the information's coming across. Marshall McLuhan, the media theorist, he said, the medium is the message. The medium is the message. The medium is the message. And so this medium, the digital medium, offering a sort of vibratory force to your eardrums, and then if you are thus triggered by me, then to your body, where you have a sort of stimulated experience. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. I'm curious if there's anybody out there that's listening to this that is finding it stimulating in any imaginable way, let me know. This is not for many folks, but if there's anybody who sees and hears, it's like Christ said, for those with eyes to see and ears to hear, who see the postmodern information age reflection of simulation, stimulation, the sensorial body experience through the digital age, let me know in the comments below. But mostly to history, I say these are simply strange outpourings, just bizarre pilings in the unknowable ash can of the digital internet, where we are for better or worse connecting, and so we may as well throw our voice in every imaginable way into this matrix and see what pops out the other end. Whoop-boom. Bim-ba-dim-bum-boom. Bum-bum-ba-dum-bum-bum. Thanks for watching, everybody.